He laid in bed, controller in hand, eyes glued to a glowing screen. Downstairs, the house buzzed quietly with the chaos of real life. Leftover dishes, toys scattered across the floor, and a toddler's laughter turning slowly into fussing. And I stood there, one hand still on the doorknob after coming home from my mother-in-law's, frozen in place by the mess, the noise, the loneliness, and the rage. Because in that moment, I knew he was going to pretend he didn't hear it. Pretend it wasn't his job. Pretend being sick made him invisible to responsibility. And I couldn't pretend with him anymore. We're both 25. Young, sure, but not new to responsibility. We've been married 5 years. We have a 2.5-year-old daughter, bright-eyed, full of energy, and, like most toddlers, a beautiful whirlwind of needs. You can't coast through parenting with a toddler. There's no autopilot. I've never posted anything like this before. I'm not someone who brings my private life into public spaces, but tonight, I'm sitting alone in my kitchen, everyone asleep, the smell of leftovers still lingering in the air, and I'm wondering, am I the asshole? It started yesterday. He caught a cold, not the flu, not a fever, not strep, just a cold. He called off work, said he needed to rest. Fine. Fair enough. I've been there too. This morning, I left him alone, let him sleep in, brought him breakfast. He stayed in bed most of the day, playing video games, scrolling on his phone, curled up in a blanket. I handled the toddler, made lunch, cleaned up, and got ready for my own work-from-home shift. Business as usual. By afternoon, I was clocked in upstairs. The baby played around the house. She came into my room a few times, smiling, wandering, babbling. She was fed, content, and curious, and I didn't think twice about letting her roam freely. After all, her dad was downstairs. I assumed, maybe naively, that he'd watch her, not entertain her, not chase her around, just make sure she didn't get into trouble. But when I came downstairs, after logging off for the day, the house was in complete disarray. Dishes still on the table, toys everywhere. My daughter's mood shifting. She was getting tired, overstimulated, on the edge of a meltdown. And my husband, still in bed, still playing his game. I didn't say anything. Not yet. Instead, I took her with me to drop off some things at my in-laws. I thought maybe giving her a change of scene would calm her down. Maybe he'd take a break. Maybe he'd get up. At my mother-in-law's, I mentioned that he was sick. And that's when it hit me. The imbalance. She gasped. "Did you give him medicine?" she asked. "Did he eat? Is he resting enough?" She packed up food for him, practically shoving containers into my hands, like he was recovering from major surgery, like he wasn't a grown man with a cold. That was the moment something cracked in me, because when I get sick, I still do everything. When I'm running a fever, or battling a headache, or just completely worn down, I still get up. I feed our daughter. I clean the kitchen. I do the laundry. I answer emails and attend meetings and wipe sticky fingers while microwaving lunch. There are no questions about whether I've taken medicine. No one offers to bring me food. No one rushes in to save me. When I'm sick, the world doesn't pause. And yet, for him, it seems to stop entirely. I came home. It was past bedtime. She was tired, cranky, rubbing her eyes. I started cleaning up without a word. And he strolled out of the bedroom, still wrapped in the same blanket, still groggy like he'd just finished a hard day at war. So I let him take her. I needed him to step up. 20 minutes later, she still wasn't in pajamas. I bit my tongue, finished cleaning. He finally brought her to bed, without brushing her teeth. I had to remind him again, and that's when he sighed loudly and said he didn't have the energy for a fussy toddler, that he was sick. That's when I snapped. I didn't yell, but my voice cracked. Sharp, tired, edged with something I didn't know had been building this long. Just brush your teeth and go to bed. He looked at me like I'd just insulted his dignity, called me mean, said I was being unreasonable. But in my mind, unreasonable would have been storming out the door, throwing the dishes in the sink, slamming every cupboard, saying everything I was really thinking. Instead, I said nothing else. He brushed her teeth, put her to bed, and went to sleep. I stayed up, couldn't sleep if I tried, because I felt a storm of emotions I didn't know how to name. I wasn't just mad at him. I was exhausted. Exhausted by the double standard. Exhausted by the silence. Exhausted by the fact that when I need help, I still have to ask. And when he needs help, the world just gives it to him. Even his mother sees me as the caregiver, the nurse, the default, the one who should know what medicine to give, what food to warm, what routine to maintain. And maybe I've done too good a job playing that role. Maybe I made it too easy to ignore how much I carry. But this isn't just about a toothbrush. This is about what happens when someone stops being your partner and starts acting like another person you have to take care of. And yet, if I'm being honest, I didn't communicate. I didn't say, "Hey, I need help tonight." I didn't ask him to brush her teeth, or tuck her in, or pick up a toy. I just expected him to do what I do: see the chaos and step in, feel the need, and respond. Be a parent. And maybe that's the saddest part, that I no longer expect him to want to help, that I assume I have to either do it myself or force it. So I sit here in this dim kitchen, wondering how we got here. We used to be a team. We used to make jokes at midnight while rocking her to sleep, or wash dishes side by side after dinner. Now, I feel like I do it all alone, even when he's right there. And when he gets a cold, I lose my only backup. I don't want to be his nurse. I want to be his partner. I want to be able to say, "I need rest too," and not be made to feel guilty for it. I want to know that if I'm not okay, he can step in fully, without direction, without resentment. Because parenting doesn't stop when you're sick. It just becomes harder. And when you're not doing it alone, it's bearable. But when you are, it's unbearable. So I ask again, am I the asshole for expecting him to do the bare minimum? For expecting him to care for his child the way I do every day? For getting frustrated that I'm expected to power through illness while he's expected to rest? For losing my temper after trying so hard not to? Was I wrong to finally expect equality when all I've ever been given is tolerance? I don't know. But I do know this: I can't be the only one who feels like this. Like you're drowning in a partnership that looks equal on the surface, but tips the moment anything goes wrong. Maybe I need to have a real conversation. Maybe I need to stop being so strong that no one notices I'm breaking. Maybe I need to stop pretending this imbalance is normal, because it's not, and it shouldn't be. So, what do you think? Am I the asshole? This story hit hard, because what we see here is not just a cold. It's not about a toothbrush. It's about invisible labor, emotional exhaustion, and the quiet unraveling that happens when one partner becomes the backbone while the other takes it for granted. It's about how gender roles still creep into modern marriages, even when both partners work. even when both love their child. And it's about how resentment doesn't explode overnight. It builds slowly, through unwashed dishes, through sick days that aren't equal, through the deafening silence that comes when your needs are never asked about. To the OP, you're not alone. To anyone listening, ask yourself, if you were sick, would your partner pick up the slack? Would they expect the same of you as they do of themselves? And if not, why? We want to hear from you. Drop a comment below, share your story, or just say, I get it. Because someone reading might need to hear that tonight. This has been AITA Stories. Thanks for listening. And remember, sometimes the most heartbreaking stories are the ones that happen quietly inside our homes.